The entrepreneur of yourself, the never-ending race. In today's society, the old boss no longer stands over you with a whip or rigid rules. Instead, you've become your own boss, an entrepreneur of yourself. This sounds empowering at first. You have freedom, choice, and endless possibility. But this freedom is a double-edged sword. It's not about relaxing into life. It's about constantly improving, growing, performing, without pause or finish line. The problem is this: an entrepreneur never stops. There's always a next level, another skill to master, a new habit to develop. Even your leisure time has become part of this performance cycle. Reading a book is no longer just for pleasure. It's productive reading. Meditation isn't simply calm. It's a tool to optimize your brain. Exercise isn't a hobby. It's a mandate. Sleep itself has transformed into a performance metric, measured, optimized, hacked. You don't just live. You manage yourself. Like a business, every minute is accounted for. Your to-do list is never complete. Your goals constantly stretch further. Your self-expectations grow heavier. And when you falter, when exhaustion, anxiety, or burnout set in, the blame falls squarely on you. After all, no one forced you. This is your own self-demand. But this internalized pressure is the cruelest kind of oppression. It's a silent war waged inside your mind. A war where you are both general and soldier, jailer and prisoner. The walls of your prison are invisible, but built of endless expectations, performance metrics, and relentless productivity. You can no longer tell where society's demands end and where your own self-demands begin. This ceaseless self-exploitation drains your mind, body, and soul. The model is unsustainable because it denies something essential to human life: rest, pause, and simply being. It's not natural to live in constant conflict with yourself, to never allow room for failure, boredom, or silence. And so, you're caught in a trap, running on a treadmill that accelerates endlessly, exhausting you physically and emotionally. Freedom has turned into a demand for continuous achievement. This is the paradox of the modern entrepreneur self. The very freedom you think you have is actually a new form of cage, and the race never stops. The tyranny of positivity, when yes you can, becomes a trap. Our era no longer suffers from classic oppression by external authorities, but is dominated by a far more insidious force: the tyranny of positivity. Instead of being told what we cannot do, we are overwhelmed by the imperative that we must smile, must be happy, must produce, must optimize, must constantly improve. The new command is an unyielding, yes you can, and that demand corrodes from within. This positivity is no longer uplifting. It has become an oppressive regime that does not tolerate failure, sadness, or pause. You're told to always be motivated, always be productive, always be your best self. The pressure to perform joyfully and tirelessly has become unbearable. The irony, the very message meant to inspire makes you sick. Depression, anxiety, ADHD, and burnout have ceased to be individual problems. They are now social symptoms. These conditions reflect a collective psyche worn down by the endless demands of performance and positivity. You are expected to celebrate every moment, but inside, you are collapsing. The cruelty of this model is that it blames the individual. If you're tired, unmotivated, or overwhelmed, the fault lies solely with you. Your lack of willpower, your laziness, your failure to align with the ideal. The system offers no space for vulnerability or rest. It demands constant acceleration. You become a caricature of motivation, smiling on the outside, exhausted inside. Genuine feelings of sadness, frustration, or fatigue are hidden or denied. This false positivity disconnects you from your authentic self. It demands performance, not just in work, but in joy, presence, and happiness. Social media amplifies this effect. Every scroll confronts you with images of success, wellness, and achievement, heightening feelings of inadequacy. Your worth is measured by how well you keep up, how much you produce, how happy you appear. This toxic positivity is a modern disease. It empties the soul by denying the full spectrum of human experience: the silence, the doubt, the stillness, the grief. And until we learn to say no to this relentless yes, we continue running faster on a treadmill that only speeds up. Self-exploitation, when you become your own taskmaster. In today's world, the harshest form of control no longer comes from outside authorities or bosses. Instead, it's a form of self-exploitation. You have become your own taskmaster, your own executioner. The pressure to perform, create, innovate, and constantly improve now originates from within. You are no longer just a person living your life. You have become a project, a brand, an investment. It's no longer enough to exist. You must optimize every part of yourself, sell yourself, reinvent yourself endlessly. This pressure isn't imposed by a boss or government anymore. It's internalized and self-directed. Byung-Chul Han calls this phenomenon self-exploitation. You demand productivity from yourself and punish yourself when you fall short. Productivity becomes obedience. Self-discipline becomes self-surveillance. You think you're free because you can choose your goals, but all the available options lead to the same place. More work, more stress, more exhaustion. Even what once offered refuge, your body, relationships, spirituality, rest, has been colonized by this logic of performance. The body is a machine to be optimized. Relationships become networking opportunities. Spirituality becomes coaching, and rest is only valuable if it helps you produce more. Your free time is commodified, analyzed, and maximized. You are essentially a one-person company whose only employee is yourself, running 24/7, chasing deadlines, expectations, and an impossible ideal. This relentless internal pressure leads to existential overload. You are everywhere but nowhere at once, constantly present to tasks but absent from yourself. You are functioning, but not truly living. Deep inside, you know the harder you try to fit into this ideal of success, the further you drift from who you really are. The question emerges: what have you lost in the process? What parts of yourself have been silenced, ignored, or forgotten? This exhaustion, this collapse of the self under endless demands, is not a personal failure, but a societal symptom. It signals a crisis not just of individuals, but of the very structure of modern life. A structure built on self-exploitation, disguised as freedom. The true act of freedom and rebellion today might be the courage to stop, to say no, to refuse the imperative of always doing, producing, optimizing, and smiling through exhaustion. Saying no is not weakness or failure. It is resistance. It is reclaiming your life from the machine of endless productivity. It is choosing presence over performance, rest over rush, being over doing. This refusal breaks the cycle of self-exploitation. It opens a path to healing and reconnection with your true self. In a world that demands constant yes, the power to say no becomes radical and transformative.